Hello, my name is Stela Gujamo. I'm Archaeological and Heritage Management. Thank you for the invitation. It's fantastic for me to be part of this seminar. Well, I'm here to share my little journey still under construction in archaeological science. Next slide. Um, next slide, please. When it comes to entire higher education, we have many ideas. We know that our professional choice is crucial for the way we are going to impact our society and the world in general. Like many young people, I thought a lot about what I wanted to do, and with the few resources I had, I looked for information on possible course I take science in secondary school education. I had opted for the literature section. Among some options that emerged, I stopped at archaeology and management of cultural heritage. First, I've been surprised to learn that this course was taught in Mozambique. Then very happy to think about the adventures that could come from this career if I chose and was admitted to the course. Fortunately, I passed it. So in 2016, it all started. Going to college was the beginning of a journey that has accompanied me to this day. Next slide. Um, third, the training, there were groups of archaeologists who carried out research in Mozambique, and in collaboration with the Department of Archaeology and Anthropology in Eduardo Mondlane University, that opened space for archaeology students to apply and could take practical class outside those that were given in the university in certain unities. It is on the pens that in 2016, I participated in an archaeological expedition to Massingir archaeological site. Is a Stone Age site coordinated by Professor Nuno Bicho. After this field work, I became more interested in this area of knowledge, and the desire to talk about archaeology became more and more growing. Next slide. And during academic training, we have a range of areas to choose for writing what we are told, and we think about our study culmination work according to our affinities. Archaeology, like any other science, have offers multiple choice in this field. Anyway, there were so many possibilities, and at this point, the best thing I could do was to not pressure myself about it, but dedicate myself to the disciplines I had until some green light come on. Next. In one of these attempts, please next slide. In one of these attempts, because we never completely disconnect to associate the science of archaeology with the preservation of the environment and making retrospective of everything that had already studied, never forgetting to explain the civic nature of archaeology and the reason for its conservation and consequently dissemination. My monography was about in situ conservation of archaeological sites. Next slide. The study was based on the archaeological site of Chongoene in the environment context of coastal ecosystem, open air shell meeting site located on a coastal dune in south of Mozambique, specifically in the province of the Gaza. where traces of ceramic are also evident related to the first communities of farmers. Next slide. And this work was supervised by Solange Macamo. And in this work, the concept of in situ conservation was operationalization for the creation of the park, for the Archaeological Park of Chongoene. In the context of the cultural sustainability, where, however, any exhaustive study of the cultural and natural heritage legislation was presented with a view to development the park management plan, thus providing that it is possible to protect the archaeological heritage without compromising development. Think about the benefits of this heritage from the coastal communities of Chongoene. Next slide. As a result, I was subsequently included in the project of the Archaeological Park and the Biocultural Heritage of Chongoene, as we call PARBIC. Next slide. This project was coordinated by Solange Macamo, has the involvement of different partners, being funded by the Jordan Henkel Foundation, and had the following main tasks, like organization and updating of the documentary database, scientific articles, legal framework for cultural and natural heritage, participate in the selection of the contents to be integrated in the identification plans and the locking of each one of them, organization of seminars with a view to training the coastal of Chongoene and Xai-Xai has adjacent areas, and identify potential private partners for the PARBIC. Next slide. Assuming that all stakeholders are an integral part of the success of the conservation objects of the archaeological and biocultural heritage, we have seminaries were held to share knowledge among all stakeholders. Next slide. Still, as a member of this project, I was co-author for the publication of the article, The Shell Midis of Chongoene and Xai-Xai, Returning the Past in Context of Public Archaeology. When matters relating to the valorization of the shell meetings of Xai-Xai and Chongoene for promotion of public archaeology are discussed, cultural, social, and economic aspects and the natural context were considered. E.g., thinking of heritage as a resource is to development a public culture with aim to valuing it. Next slide. So this project is scheduled to end in 2023 and is currently collaborating remotely, as I'm currently attending a master in archaeology at University of Algarve in Portugal. It should be noted that I had some professional internship, so the first of which was at the National Directorate of Cultural Heritage. It was during the pandemic year. The internship had two moments. One of them was framed in Department of Monuments and Sites, and another phase in the museum performing different tasks from ensuing option to monitoring the museums. And the second internship in Cooperative for Cultural and Creative Industry, CREAMOS, where I mapped the agents of the cultural and creative industries in order to look for potential resource of funding with main focus on creators in the province of Cabo Delgado due to the situation of violence that exists in that region, and many agents of the cultural and creative industry had to move from their areas of origins. Next slide. So I decided to joining at the cooperative Geração Consciente as a volunteer for mangrove preservation and restoration campaigns, simultaneously carrying out cleaning campaigns, environment education program in school to teach and tell people that the importance to take care of our environment. Next slide. And the same activism expands to culture, where I get involved in contests where I can somehow influence the importance of safeguarding cultural heritage in Mozambique. Thus, joining groups of young people who, like me, are interested in the dissemination of archaeological heritage. And this is my later journey that is just beginning. I'm currently a master, as I would say that I'm student master in archaeology at the University of Algarve to develop studies on the adaptation of men along the coast in Mozambique. So now I send my special thanks for my colleagues, teachers, friends, and family for all their support and for you to invitation. Thank you.